Hi, I'm Tandy Gutierrez, and welcome to your monthly tarot reading for the month of November. So November, here in the Northern Hemisphere, we've got cooler weather, we've got Thanksgiving coming up, and it really, yesterday, Halloween, Samhain, begins, the whirlwind of holiday season. So it's a time that the more you can anchor and get quiet and get a little settled, the better, because the fun and the chaos of it will happen anyhow. And we hope it's all fun, but knowing that it's that holiday season and brews, families connecting or not connecting, it can be highly emotionally charged, okay? So we're going to look at what the month of November brings for us as a collective, see what the energy is that we're working with. We always aim for the highest and greatest good and to move forward in love and to just kind of go, what's coming down the pike a little bit? What can we be on the lookout for so that we can approach it with calm perspective, right? And then what are some things that might be a little like, ooh, okay, maybe we need to side-eye that one a little bit. But for the month of November in general, just getting a lot of anchoring energy, meaning rooting down, earthing, rooty vegetables, getting into Mama Earth a little bit more because it's that time and that season, okay? So let's see what the cards bring for us. Remember, it's a general reading. Not everything's going to make sense specifically to you, right? And I like to listen with fuzzy ears and just listen to the things it makes me think of, the people it makes you think of. And as always, remember to share these. They're totally free. It's a gift from me to you. I don't know that you can link them from mattinkitchen.com, but from Tandy Gutierrez on the Urban Mystic page, you can totally share them from there, okay? So if the reading makes you think of someone else and you go, oh, they were just talking about this the other day, you get to be, one of their guardian angels and send them some messages that can help for the greater good, right? Okay, you're gonna throw things at me, okay. Okay, throwing it, yep, all right. Okay. It's always exciting to see what comes out. All right, energy of the month. It does not get much better than this, okay? 10 of Pentacles. Pentacles are beautiful, okay? Typically, this is a what you reap, you sow. It's a very karmic card, but it's a very doing card, okay? And we've talked about last month was like go time. It was about, really implementing things that you've been thinking over, making lists about and wishing for and planning for, and it was time to do, okay? So November is showing us that it's 10 of Pentacles is like a reward, right? This is like things coming in because of the work that you've done. But this card in general can also be gifts of spirit. So like the beautiful rainbow behind it and the circular energy. November, depending on when you're watching this, maybe you watch it on November 1st, Dia de los Muertos, like Day of the Dead. It begins, that celebration. October 31st being Halloween, All Hallows Eve or Samhain. This shows the gifts of spirit and the support from spirit that you have, like your spiritual guides, your guardian angels, like your team, your higher self. It all counts towards that we need to remember, and we need to learn that we're not alone in this, that there are entities protecting us and looking out for us. We don't always hear them, but we don't always take their advice. Let's be really clear about that. And they definitely want patience for us and for us to cultivate the understanding of cycles and the cyclic nature of knowing that sometimes it's time to reap rewards and sometimes it's the doing time and sometimes it's the learning time, which is usually the hard stuff, right? So the energy of this month is reward, but I'm getting much more about the spiritual reward and the feeling of joy and abundance that expands because of your connection to the divine, because of your connection to spirit, that they're rooting you on, like they're totally your cheerleaders and your team, and that, always, but in particular this month, be looking for the funny ways that they tell you. Okay, so spirits and guides and guardian angels like to show their presence by dropping feathers in your path or coins that end up in weird places. Or it can just be like little notes or phrases that you see, on a billboard, a card that's dropped in the subway, like everything, right? There are no coincidences. So this month in particular, be on the lookout for your little notices, because they're pushing to say, we're here, and we are here, we are here, we are here. This very Dr. Seuss thing, like you're not alone. Everything's happening in the right time and in divine time. But 10 is fresh starts and new beginnings. Like it's which was October, right? 10, the month of 10. But this is a fresh cycle, that's for sure. October 31st is considered to be, witch's New Year. Like for a pagan, it's the celebration of the earth and the celebration of cycles. And like as things go from summer into fall and things start to die off, that's a new cycle and a new beginning, right? So it's this fresh energy of new things, and that it's all coming around for the better. So it's abundant. That's good. But it's looking more like energetically abundant. It may not be tangible yet, but the energy's got to be there first, right? Then it starts to show up in solid day-to-day form, okay? So great. That's a beautiful place to begin. What to leave behind? The Hangman. So the Hangman is a major arcana card. The Hangman can be looking at things from a different perspective, right? So maybe it's time to ditch that. Like let go of this idea of everything needs to come from a new way. It has to be reborn and redone. We've gone through a lot of that. There's been a lot of transition, a lot of dying off, a lot of rebirth. That is fact, okay, in the last year for certain, especially in the last 8 to 9 months. So it's time to let go of another new perspective, like look at it again. It's kind of saying like, no, you know where you need to be going? Like don't overthink this. Like you had to evaluate and rethink and be creative and look at it from a fresh perspective. Now it's time to take that fresh perspective and stick to it and be consistent with it. Hangman can also be asking you to be patient, to hang out. Like, hold up, just hang tight. Like, it's not time yet. So it's releasing this idea of like hanging out and doing nothing and being passive to some things. It's time, again, we had go time last month, but we're even more into it now, okay? That's what to release. What to learn? Mother of Swords. Mother of Swords is about learning to sit on your words and learning to rest in your wisdom, okay? So swords are about your intellect, your acumen, your thought processes, how you think about things, what you're filling up on, what are you reading, who are you listening to. This can be command central, right? As a cognitive thinking human person, this is where, visualization and manifestation start. You have to be able to think it, right, in order to bring it into fruition. Mother of Swords is about that wisdom of like all of these things that you've gathered, learned, and brought in, and really sitting on them, because the wisest people are the quietest, right? They don't go running their mouths. They're listening, they're integrating, they're thinking, they're mulling over. They also see cycles and patterns and things where they don't want to get exhausted in all of the chatter of it. And then they give you, like the oracle, like one word. It's very Yoda-esque. That can be a bit of a puzzle. So what to learn in this month is how to be regal, how to use your feminine energy to its highest power, right? It's intuitive, it's psychic, it's nurturing, it's caregiving, but that doesn't mean you do everything for everyone, right? So over talking it, telling people exactly what to do, and take it from a teacher, it's like sometimes they just need that snippet. They don't need the whole monologue, okay? So it's learning how and when to sit on your words, and how and when to offer up wise words. Like, don't waste your breath running your mouth so much, because it can and will fall on some deaf ears. Being quieter, like if you have kids, like sometimes when a parent gets really quiet, that's when they really perk up, because they're like, oh, what is going on? they get a little nervous. So sometimes being quiet can very much draw people's attention in a really constructive way, because they go, they're not all way up here and getting freaked out about things. Like, it's that anchored and rooty and Mother Earth like oracle sort of sensation to it, of learning how to navigate from a more grounded, real, wise position. Okay, so what to receive? Man, this card's going around a lot too. In the readings that I've done, it has just come up over and over and over. Okay, so 10 of Wands, what to receive. Now this is fascinating. It's another 10, right? This is another amplified, fresh start, new beginning. 10 of Wands can very much be, it's about your burdens. It's about the burdens that we carry. It's about our baggage, right? And the traditional deck, it's like this person who's carrying this bundle of sticks and they're all falling out. It's like you just keep tripping over the same sticks, like the same things, okay? But it calls us to lay down our burdens, see which ones we just, like, why am I still carrying that? Like, it's totally broken. I don't need it. I learned my lesson from that. What can we release, right? And then it asks you to repackage your burdens. Tie them nice and neat. Put a beautiful leather strap on it. Put them on your back, and then your hands are free to move forward. So 10 of Wands is very much about learning how to navigate your burdens. So this can be, your terrible habits that just continue to trip you up. There are solutions, there are answers out there. I can help you with those too. Like on a practical level of day-to-day living, healthy habits and those kinds of things. But a lot of it can be about your baggage, right? We all have baggage. You hear the line from Rent, I'm looking for baggage that goes with mine. Everybody carries it, right? We do not get through this human life unscathed. But we do have to learn how to navigate it, how to learn from it, potentially heal, and release it. Or healing doesn't always mean releasing. Bigger topic of forgiveness here, like the purpose that forgiveness plays. Forgiveness of like hurts and traumas, and these, are included in our baggage. Our baggage is anything that weighs us down, that prevents us from moving forward in positive evolution, that prevents us from becoming our highest and greatest self of service to each other and to ourselves, right? So we've all got baggage. Sometimes you need to be in a group of people where it's similar baggage, so everybody kind of gets it. It doesn't seem so heavy. Forgiveness is also something you have to look at, because you can't continue to carry all of your baggage. And what forgiveness does, it doesn't make it okay. It doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It means it's not as heavy to carry anymore. Literally, that it becomes not as energetically draining, or not energetically draining at all. So this month is calling on you all to receive a lightening of your burdens. And it's beautiful. It's calling on you to receive healing. But that can take some work, right? You have to, it's not always a magic wand kind of thing. You need to be doing the work, right? Listening to the readings is a beautiful way to do it. Make sure you do your meditations. With me is a great way to do it. They're below here with this one too, the guided meditations. That's the work. It's about sifting through. Why do I feel what I feel? How can I let go of it? How can I heal from it? How can I transmute the hurt and the baggage and the heaviness into something useful, light, and bright in the world? That's the deal in this earthly plane. How can we take what we've learned and make it better, and make other people's experience of life better because of what we've learned? Okay? So you're being called on this month to lighten your load, to heal, and to really repackage and carry it easier so that you can move forth in the world, with more usefulness to people and to yourself, more joy. Okay? The assets. Man, this one keeps coming up too, and it's great. Wheel of Fortune. I mean, that's just super cool. So again, October 31st, Halloween is, the witch's new year kind of thing. So again, in these pagan traditions of cyclical earth cycles, of the moon cycles, of, when to plant, when to sow, when to, hunker down for the winter and store things. Like, this is what paganism is. This is about the rituals of the earth and the cycles of the earth. So this is the Wheel of Fortune. Anytime this card comes up in a reading, it means that the cycles energetically are shifting from kind of hard or really hard to a whole lot better. Like, Good energy's on the way. So remember that there's things happening on the energetic plane. It's not just us and our thinking and our doing, because I know that a lot of you are like, I'm trying, I'm doing the work, and still nothing's, shaken out. It's because things, I always, liken it to furniture being, rearranged behind the scenes. It's a scene change, right, in a show, that as you progress and you have more self, evolution and more self-reflection, then the ethers and the divine energy have to go, wait, they did an upgrade. They chose, a more pristine divine path. And so we can adjust things to go with that. Or there's just cycles in life that are kind of crummy and really difficult, and that's changing. The energies are changing. It's the witch's new year. It's a new time. It's a new beginning. We have these 2 10s right off the bat, and there's another one in here too. Fresh starts, new beginnings. Fresh starts, new... No, wait. No, there's actually 4 10s in here. Yeah, it's just a new cycle. So congratulations, you've been doing the work. Things are transitioning. They are going to lighten up, and there is going to be more reward for it, okay? Sometimes it doesn't have to do with our doing, right? Sometimes it's just timing. So that's one of the assets. Then we've got the obstacles. It's another 10. I mean, unreal, you guys. It's really a very special reading for November. Obstacles. So 10 of Swords, and that looks pretty gruesome, right? Okay, so the obstacle is, are you really gonna drop the bullshit that you know doesn't serve you, that's never served you, that you've worked in that like repetition, like you have worked the repetition of the crap that doesn't work for you? Or are you going to move forward into a new cycle, into new practices, into new awareness? So that's a human obstacle at all times, right? Are you going to take the higher path, or are you going to do with what's easy and common and what you've always done? So what you've always done is showing that, the thoughts and the thought processes, it's that negative thinking, and it's very masculine. It's the bull is that sign of masculinity. It's that masculine energy that says, I will make things happen, like at all costs. The feminine energy says, well, wait, things are really not working out right now. And I'm going to take a pause. And I'm going to let the universe do its magic while I go sit and think about what's really happening here. So the feminine energy is not, it's not passive, right? But it is quiet and wise. So the obstacle here in the calling is to use more of the feminine energy, right? More of the wisdom, more of the listening, more of the intuition and the internal knowing, and less of the masculine, like, I'm going to go kill everything. I'm going to I'm sorry, I'm not this is not a male bashing thing. Masculine and feminine energies carry different pieces, and we all have both of them. But at its detriment, masculine energy destroys, and it will repeat bad behavior because it's thinking instead of feeling and knowing. So that's the obstacle. I think that's the obstacle all the time in life. And then what is the outcome of this month? Interesting duality in the outcome. So the moon, okay? The moon is a complete call to femininity because it harkens to the moon cycles of waxing and waning, right? Full and new, and these cycles of fruition and planting, right? So again, ooh, very pagan in here happening, but in, the real pagan, the good pagan, not the story that media and patriarchy have taught forever, right? So the outcome is a call to the moon, paying more attention to the moon cycles, paying more attention to your feminine side, because the moon is all about the dark stuff. It's about the intuition. It's about the knowing without knowing why. And so the moon can also call you to really look at your fears. What do you believe to be true? What is scary? What have you always thought was scary because somebody told you to? We have this lineage of fear in every family, in our bloodline. What are the things passed down? They tend to be financial. That's just a common one. But they can be about love and about partnership. I mean, they can be about anything. What are the things that have been instilled in you to fear, to be scared and worried about? The moon is a call to really look at those. Are they yours? Is that genuinely something that you should be scared and worried about? Or is it time to release it and not allow those things to be your burden? That the burdens of your lineage don't have to be the burdens of you. You can help break the cycle for the next generations, right? So this is the outcome is a call to more intuitive processes, tarot, meditation, to anchoring into that and exploring the dark stuff that you're afraid of. Because if you keep putting it in that other room, in the closet underneath the, at the bottom of the closet, it just festers, right? Those are the skeletons in the closet. So if you pull them out and look at them and work with them, and then you go, well, maybe I just hang it out in the middle of the room because it's cool decoration. Perspective and how you look at life and how you move forward. Interesting. So month of November clearly calls on your connection to your higher self, to divinity, to your guides, guardian angels, God, however you need to communicate that. It's your connection to the higher energies and understanding that you're never alone, right? That they always work for your greater good, but you have to work for that also. And that it's really not always clear to us as intellectual humans what that all means or how it shakes out. But the energy is turning to a more positive one overall. Things will get slightly lighter and easier. It's a call to really release or repackage your burdens so that you can move forward for more and to receive more and more abundance. I mean, you really have 1, 2, 3, 4 10s. That's kind of unreal. Okay. So, and really exciting. Fresh starts, new beginnings. Be wise. No need to overwork it anymore. Release your burdens. Move on. Move on. It's good. It's good to move on. And the best way to move on is to get anchored, right? Meditation, reflection, and really work through it. It's actually not super airy-fairy to be anchored in spirit. It's very grounded and rooted. Like, these are the people you want to talk to, the people that are grounded and rooted. This is the advice you want to entertain. People who are like all over the planet and it's like a little too woo-woo, like it's ungrounded, it's unrooted. So that's not real, right? We have to balance. So there has to be a balance in the real and the rooted and in divinity and in the divine, spiritual energy, magic, whatever you want to call it, okay? I was going to pull an extra card today. I was feeling like November needed a little extra. So the goal is to pull this as to how to really help implement these changes. It's a call to releasing your burdens and a call to heal, right? So this is the card for how to do that. Wisdom, right? And what does wisdom mean? Wisdom is really in the meditation, right? Like prayer is talking to God. You definitely want to do that, right? You need to unravel. You need to ask. You need to ask, but meditation is when you allow God, divine spirit, your higher self, your guides and guardian angels to communicate with you so that you know how to move forward more productively. So to me, wisdom really means rooting into your meditation. And I'm a bit of a broken wheel about things, but the reality is that the simple, consistent things work. It doesn't have to be complicated. Now, when things make sense to you, how they get communicated to you, that's the beauty and the individuality for everybody. But these readings, hopefully that's the goal. They are, propelling your evolution and your positive evolution and your releasing of your burdens and your expanding of joy and good energy and productivity in the world and your capacity to help, right? That's why I do them. That's why they're a gift. I think they're important. They've been highly important for me and for my clients. And this is just one way to get messaging. That's it. So, an exciting November. Here we go. Thank you for being here for this reading, and I will see you next month.